both my parents were writers, so it was kind of an obvious thing to do. I mean, to be just writing kind of as a pastime. But it wasn't until I was kind of in my 20s that I decided to start trying to take it a bit more seriously and try and get published and things. So there was just one day when I just thought, yeah, this is what I want to do. But there was no kind of reason that I can identify. I suppose if you're thinking of how am I going to make money or something, you definitely wouldn't go into poetry, but that wasn't my kind of, it wasn't like I was thinking this is my career. It was just, this is something I definitely want to be doing on the side if I have to get some other job. So I suppose you could say it was like a passion or something, but that seems a bit sort of cheesy. All my interests have always been very kind of myopically focused on literature and books and writing, so it wasn't like there was all these other options that I dismissed. It was just like this was the path I was going down, so that's what happened. Well, the collection kind of Dear Boy came together over quite a few years. I mean, I guess a lot of poets, when they start writing poems, they're not necessarily thinking of them all going into a collection. You're just writing one poem and then you're writing another poem. And at some point you're starting to count the poems and think about how they're adding up. So I was doing that, but I wasn't kind of thinking how they sort of fitted together thematically or anything. And it was literally just like a numbers game, as like once I had what seemed like enough, I thought, or enough ones that were good enough, then I started to try and put them in an order and see if it worked. But that did take quite a long time, like maybe 6 or 7 years. I sense a kind of enthusiasm about poetry among younger people that I have the impression wasn't so prominent in the past, but then it's really possible for me to say, because obviously I wasn't kind of following the poetry scene so closely in the past, if at all. But there's definitely a sense where, yeah, younger people are interested in what they're all doing, and the internet and social media has really helped with the sort of circulation of poetry and people reading each other's work and being influenced and inspired by it, which is really exciting. I mean, I think to some extent people have always been attracted to poetry, but maybe the type of poetry that would appeal to certain types of people was not being made available or was not easily accessible. So people would have felt like it wasn't addressing their kind of concerns. And now that maybe it's more visible, that young people are able to access it and they can do their own writing and put it online and share it with friends, and it has more currency somehow.